Namaste, welcome to another lecture of Prem's Biology. In this Archaea discussion, friends, let us understand about the 5 concepts of Archaea. My first part of my discussion in this concept will be, I will discuss a story of Archaea, a short story of Archaea, and then I will discuss the misconception of Archaea. Yes, Archaea has misconception. It has misconception like Archaea is considered as a primitive bacteria, an ancient bacteria. No, it's not actually. All archaeas are extremophiles. Most of them will say that archaeas are extremophiles. Not all. And one more misconception is they will say that all archaeas produce methanogens. No, it's not. It is a misconception. I will make it clear. This will be my second part of my discussion. And third, I will discuss the phyla of archaea. Like in which phyla a particular archaea comes. I will discuss that. Apart from this, I will discuss which is the closest archaea phyla for the eukaryotes. This will be my third discussion. Fourth, I will discuss the technique to discover archaea. Which technique is used to discover archaea? How scientists actually discover archaea? And how scientists actually classify the organisms into phyla. I will discuss in my fourth part of my discussion. And lastly, I will discuss that humans also and archaea also contribute for greenhouse effect. This will be my discussion for the rest of the class. Okay, first let us understand, and I will give a short story of archaea. See, archaea was previously considered as an ancient bacteria. So much ancient means it was almost a friend of Leuca. Last universal common ancestor. It was a friend of Leuca. That much ancient people used to consider it as Leuca. And one more thing, by seeing this word archaea, don't you remember one more parallel word of this like archaeological museum? What do they display in the archaeological museum? Do they display the smartphones or a macro book, laptop, or will they display the PUBG game? Will they display you there? What they actually display there? Old things, right? Old things like sculptures, weapons, cutleries, and all those things they will discuss there. They will display there. Sorry, they will display there. But this word archaea itself, if I take for you Greek literature, archaea means ancient. If I take for the English literature and Greek literature also, it means ancient. But technically speaking, archaea is not ancient by as its word. I will say you when I discuss about the misconception of archaea. Okay. People used to consider this as Leuca. It is a friend of Leuca, like last universal common ancestor. But it is not. As per the current phylogenetic analysis, scientists told that archaea is no more considered as an ancient bacteria. Actually, archaea came from gram-positive bacteria. Gram-positive bacteria itself gave rise to archaea. This is, I am not saying this is said by the phylogenetic scientist. Okay, this was the short story of archaea. Archaea is no more considered as an ancient bacteria, and previously it was called as archaea bacteria, but now we only call this archaea bacteria as only archaea. We are using only prefix of the word. If we use the both word like archaea bacteria, people will get confused like archaea and bacteria, both are husband or wife or what? They will confuse with it. So we are using only the prefix of archaea. We call archaea bacteria. We will simply call it as archaea. This is the short story of archaea. And what is the misconception of archaea? There is lot of misconception, friends. There is lot of misconception. That first misconception I told you, archaea is considered as primitive and ancient bacteria. I discussed just before in the story also. It is considered so much ancient that the present bacteria which are present are fully modern. Fully modern. This bacteria is so ancient. I told you that it was a friend of Leuca. That primitive it was. No, it's not. As per the current phylogenetic analysis, this evolved from gram-negative bacteria. Okay, this is the misconception. I think you got clear. And second misconception is all archaeas are extremophiles. Hey, what is the word extremophile means? Extremophile means extreme means you understood. Extreme means it lives in extreme condition. Philes, what does phile means? They love to live in extreme condition. You may ask me, sir, which are the extreme conditions which actually archaea lives? Yes, there are few extreme conditions like they live in a hydrothermal vents. They live in a hydrothermal vents, and in which condition? One more extreme condition is they will live in a saline condition. And they live in a highly temperated area, like the temperature will be above 100 degrees Celsius. In that temperature also these archaeas will live. That is what is extremophile means. Extremophile means they love to live in the extreme condition. And one more bacteria I will say that which comes under the picrophiles. It lives in a pH of 1. It is highly extreme. It lives in a pH of 1. In such extreme conditions, archaeas will live. Thing is that not all archaea live in extreme condition. Not all archaeas will live in the extreme condition. Yeah, there are most of the bacteria which live in extreme condition, but some of the bacteria which lives in the normal conditions also. You may ask me, sir, which are those bacteria which lives in normal conditions means? I can give a simple example. You will get a little bit shocked, like, so in so much normal conditions also archaea lives. Okay, let us understand in which condition, which normal condition, which hospitality condition this archaea lives. One, they live in marshy fields. For example, in rice fields, and second example, they live in ruminants, intestine of ruminants. Like for example, cattle. Third, friends, archaea lives in us also. Where? In our gut, in our stomach, we have archaeas. If you listen that word, the word itself is very fancy. It has 25 alphabets in it. The name of that archaea which lives in human gut is Methanobrevibactin smithii. Methanobrevibacter smithii. So fancy name, right? This archaea lives in human gut. It means it lives in a hospitality. It lives in a normal conditions. So don't call every archaeas as extremophiles. Most of them are extremophile, but not all. Some live in a very normal condition like in humans. I hope you are clear with. You should not call that all archaeas are extremophiles. And one more misconception, that all archaeas are methanogens. No, not all archaeas are methanogens. Not all archaea produce methanogens. Only a phyla of Euryarchaeota family members produce methanogens. This is also a misconception. Only this phyla members will contribute and produce methanogens and contribute for greenhouse effect. I hope you are clear with this. And what is the third concept of my discussion? My third concept of discussion will be phyla of archaea. and which is the closest archaea for eukaryotes. This will be my third part of my discussion. Okay, actually archaeas are divided into four phyla. One is Euryarchaeota, and second is Crenarchaeota, and third is Conarchaeota, and fourth is Lokiarchaeota. Lokiarchaeota. I think it is LOCKI or LOKI. LOKI, I guess. Lokiarchaeota. These four are these phyla of Archaeota. These four are major phyla. There are some more phyla. I am not interested in that. These are the four major phyla of Archaea. But this Lokiarchaeota is the closest archaea for eukaryotes. We have the closest relationship with this Lokiarchaeota family. These are the four phyla of Archaea. This much is enough to discuss with this, because there are not coming questions from this. And my fourth discussion is, what is the techniques which is used to discover Archaea? This is very much important. Why? Because without discovering, how can you say that? How can you classify the Archaeas into families, and how can you understand anything about that? There is a very important technique to discover Archaea. That technique is called as metagenomics. Metagenomics. By this technique itself, scientists discover Archaeas. What is the technique means? Consider what they do means here. They go for the source where Archaea is present. Consider scientist is going for the source where Archaea is present. He found that Archaeas are floating on the water body. He found that after finding the Archaeas floating on the water body, what he do is, he will just pick up the sample. After pick up the sample, what he immediately do is, he subject those Archaea for fractionation. Why the scientists do fractionation? Because most of the Archaeas are not culturable in the lab. So that is the reason what they do is, they will immediately do the fractionation. After doing the fractionation, they will pick up the genome. After taking the genome, what they will do? They will sequence. After sequencing, they get a particular data. After getting data, what they do is, they will compare how closely and how distantly this Archaea is related with the previously sequenced Archaea. And then after seeing this, they will classify the Archaeas into all these four families which I told you, like Cren, Eury, Con and Lokiarchaeota. This is the actually technique which scientists use to discover Archaea. I hope you are clear with this. And my last part of discussion will be, I will discuss Archaeas and humans also contribute for greenhouse effect. You can ask me, sir, how they are actually contributing for greenhouse effect. I am bringing one common example to make you understand how actually we contribute for the greenhouse effect. See, we Indians will eat most of them will eat biryani. Biryani is very masala food, right? Very delicious also. We eat like kaju kurma. We eat all those stuffs, like so delicious, right? It is made up of Indian spices. After eating and if we fill our tank with full of masala foods, what we do? We will belch. While belching, we will secrete some sort of gas from our mouth. That gas is actually consists of methanes, and it is also produced by Archaea. Are you getting my point? When you eat stomach full of masala food, the gas which you release out from your mouth, that consists of what? Methane. That in that gut itself we have a fancy name Archaea called as Methanobrevibacterium smithii. This bacteria itself we have in our gut. So this was the common examples how we contribute for the greenhouse effect. Obviously Archaea will contribute for greenhouse effect, like methanogens of Euryarchaeota family will contribute for the greenhouse effect. So this was my 5 concept of discussion on Archaea. This is very basics, and this gives a foundation to understand better what actually Archaeas. That's for the class students. Thank you.